Hey everyone, this is Turd Flinging Monkey, and it's probably pretty weird that after having my channel for about 4 years, I'm just now getting around to making an introductory what is MGTOW video. The reason why I never did one before is because videos like that already existed. You know, Barbarossa, Sandman, Stardust, they all created introductory videos. I didn't really have anything to add. So why now? What changed? Well, I think what's changed is the world has changed. The landscape has changed. In the words of What's-Her-Face from Lord of the Rings, the world is changing. What I really mean is MGTOW's getting a lot of attention in the media, and because we live in this hyper-political world, because God forbid Hillary Clinton didn't win, holy shit, it's the fucking Nazi Germany. Nazis, everyone! There's Nazis everywhere! Everyone's a fucking Nazi! And because that's the world we live in, because Hillary Clinton didn't win, everything is hyper-politicized. Everyone's trying to put everyone in a box of us versus them. Whose side are you on? Are you on ours? Are you one of them? Are you one of them? And there's also a lot of dipshits out there who try to put MGTOW into a box of us or them or what the fuck ever. And so I'm here to explain what MGTOW is and what MGTOW is not. Okay, so what is MGTOW? MGTOW obviously stands for Men Going Their Own Way. It started in about 2009 as an offshoot of the men's rights movement. It kind of, what we call MGTOW 2.0, started in 2012, spearheaded by Barbarossa and Stardust. And basically what it did was it was a rejection of traditionalism. The original MGTOW was basically disaffected MRAs who wanted to reinstill masculinity and femininity, and it was a little bit more on the traditional side. And then between 2009 and 2012, MGTOW started asking questions and came to a different realization. And this is actually very important to what MGTOW is and why people try to put MGTOW into different political boxes. But before we get into that, there's more to MGTOW than just anti-feminism. Now, obviously feminism is horrible, but feminism isn't the entire problem. It's not even, it's the most obvious problem, but it's not the whole problem. I wouldn't even say it's half the problem. Because what MGTOW are against isn't necessarily feminism. Feminism is just part of it. What MGTOW opposes is called gynocentrism. And gynocentrism is when the focus and the attention and the perspective of the woman is all that matters. Everything else is subservient to what benefits the woman. And that's absolutely bullshit for obvious reasons, and yet it's a reality all around us. And the reason why MGTOW in the 2.0, 2012 and beyond phase rejected traditionalism is because traditionalism is as gynocentric as feminism. But before I get into that, I know I'm kind of alluding to this, but let me just back up and kind of go over an overview of what MGTOW is. MGTOW opposed gynocentrism. And because MGTOW opposed gynocentrism, there are certain gynocentric institutions that have been so tainted that you cannot advocate for them without also advocating for gynocentrism. Thus, to oppose gynocentrism, you must also oppose these institutions, at least as they currently exist, namely marriage. Marriage is the ultimate gynocentric institution as it currently exists. Because the woman has unlimited access to the man's resources, she has all the power to destroy him, take his kids, take his livelihood, to maintain her standard of living. He has absolutely no power. He has no recourse. There's an entire parallel legal system known as the family court that's there to just fuck him raw in the ass, fast, hard, and continuously, and there's nothing he can do. Any loophole men have come up with has been shored up by feminism and by traditionalism. Both sides want men to get fucked over because of my women's, my families, my white babies, whatever. It's all bullshit. Marriage is bullshit. It's bullshit. And if you believe marriage is this great institution that's required for society, then you don't give a shit about men. And you're more than willing to throw men under the bus, and you're part of the problem. Now, beyond simply opposition to gynocentrism and marriage, MGTOW is also about finding a new purpose. Because men are basically told and brought up that their purpose in life is to be a husband and a father and perpetuate whatever society they grew up in. Well, once you reject that because you don't want to be a wage slave, well then what do you do with your life? What do you do with the rest of your life if you're not going to be a husband and a father? And that's what MGTOW seeks to answer through self-actualization, internal validation, and other things like that. It's more than just self-improvement, because a lot of guys, they want to improve their lives, they want to make more money, they want to look better, they want to be healthier, but to what end? If you're going to the gym, you're trying to get a better job and make more money in order to attract a woman, you're not doing it for yourself. Your goal is to attract a woman and whatever. But take the woman out of it. Would you still work as hard as you were? Would you still go to the gym? Would you still eat healthy and care about your body if there wasn't a woman at the end, if there wasn't some external goal? If the answer is no, then you don't have a meaning and purpose of your life. And that's what MGTOW tries to instill into men who have rejected gynocentrism and walked away from marriage. Have a meaning and purpose of your life so that you improve your life, not for anyone else, but for yourself. So, in very simple terms, MGTOW reject gynocentrism, reject marriage, because it's an instrument of gynocentrism, again, at least as it currently exists, and then seek to improve your life and establish meaning and purpose through self-actualization. That is MGTOW in a nutshell. Now, what is MGTOW not? MGTOW is not political. And people don't understand that. Everything is political. Every group has to be a political entity. And it has to fall somewhere on this left versus right spectrum. And what's interesting is everybody thinks MGTOW is on the other side of the spectrum than them. So, for example, MGTOW do not like feminists at all. Holy shit. And so, because feminism is almost entirely on the left, thus, because MGTOW oppose feminism, they must be right-wing. And thus, MGTOW always get lumped in with MRAs and the alt-right and whatever. They're always trying to lump MGTOW in with these right-wing groups, because if you oppose feminism, you must be a right-wing, alt-right, misogynist, whatever. It's not true. It's actually not true. Yes, MGTOW oppose feminism because feminism is gynocentric. However, MGTOW also oppose traditionalism on the right. And what's funny is traditionalists accuse MGTOW of being as bad as the feminists. They accuse MGTOW of being part of the social Marxist programming because my white babies. Oh no, nobody's getting married. My white babies. What about my white babies? And so the people on the right accuse MGTOW of being left-wing. So people on the left think MGTOW is right-wing, that we're all racist, misogynist, homophobic, whatever. And then people on the right accuse MGTOW of being left-wing. We're all social Marxist, Zionist, Jewish, whatever. It's stupid, okay? Now, you may think that because MGTOW oppose feminism and traditionalism, that they're centrists, that they are more or less akin to the skeptic egalitarians in the middle. But no, MGTOW is not egalitarian. MGTOW reject egalitarianism. And the reason why is because men and women aren't the same. Nor should men and women be treated the same. Because men and women aren't the same. You can't treat different things the same. It doesn't work. You have to treat things according to their nature. If you understand human nature, you realize that egalitarianism itself is fucking retarded. It actually oppresses men, because you're giving women, in order to treat them equally, you have to give them certain rights and privileges they've never earned, and that they're not responsible for. And this comes at the expense of men. If men are responsible for society, for women, for family, for everything, and you're taking away their authority and giving it to women in the name of equality, you're fucking men over. And you're actually fucking society over. So MGTOW oppose egalitarianism. So they oppose feminism on the left, they oppose traditionalism on the right, and they oppose egalitarianism in the center. So where do MGTOW fit politically? They don't. MGTOW is apolitical, and people don't understand that. They always try to put MGTOW in a political box. There is no political box for MGTOW. There are individual MGTOW who have political beliefs, and they may be in the left, right, or center. I would say largely most MGTOW fall more in like the libertarian small government camp, but there are other MGTOW who maybe because they're disabled or whatever, they're dependent on government services, they're more leftist. They believe in government. They don't want small government because they're dependent on it, which I completely understand. I completely appreciate the fact that if you're dependent on the government to live, you're not going to favor small government. It doesn't make you any less of a MGTOW. And to show you one example, think of how MRAs usually advocate for more services given to men, like such as more domestic violence shelters for men, more funding for prostate cancer and stuff like that. They want treatment similar to women to be given to men. Now, that's an MRA thing, but that requires higher taxes and bigger government, which is inherently a leftist position. Now, some MGTOW are MRAs, some MGTOW are alt-right, some MGTOW are communists, some MGTOW are collectivists. However, I would say MGTOW, by its very nature, is more individualistic and less collectivistic, so it lends itself slightly to the right, but again, it opposes egalitarianism, and it opposes traditionalism. So at the end of the day, you have MGTOW who fall across the political spectrum. MGTOW is global. Pretty much everywhere people speak English and don't have their own version of MGTOW, you're going to find MGTOW. Now in Japan, they have the herbivore men, and other places might have a different name for it, but most places, you know, like, they're MGTOW in India, they're MGTOW in Africa, they're MGTOW in Europe, North America, South America, Australia, everywhere. MGTOW is global. And because it's global, it's apolitical. Just because you believe in Marxism and redistribution doesn't mean marriage is a good deal. Marriage still fucking sucks, whether or not you're a collectivist or an individualist. Whether you believe in open borders or whether you believe in nationalism, it doesn't make marriage any better. It doesn't mean that authority is being given back to husbands and fathers over their families and wives. Now, an interesting side effect of having an open community with no hierarchy, no leadership, anybody can join MGTOW, call themselves MGTOW, doesn't matter, is you have people bring their politics into MGTOW. And then the community fragments and whatever. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, MGTOW isn't a movement. It's more of a community of individuals, all going their own way, with their own self-interest, their own path to self-actualization, their own path to finding their own life's meaning and purpose. And MGTOW just get together and compare notes. We ask questions, we help share what we've learned, and that's really all it is. And so you find other people in the community that you resonate with, that maybe are sharing a path with you, or that you're along a similar path, and you learn from each other. And then a lot of people, they reach the end of their journey, they reach self-actualization, and they leave. And you never hear from them again. Doesn't mean they've rejected MGTOW, it means they're going their own way, and sometimes that way doesn't involve being part of this YouTube or Reddit or whatever MGTOW community. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. MGTOW is very simple. It's a philosophy. A lot of people they want to put everything into a political box. They want to turn everything into fucking politics. And MGTOW doesn't give a shit. MGTOW isn't pro-Trump or anti-Trump. I think MGTOW are generally anti-feminist and anti-social justice warrior, but that's because they're the ones with the power. And because MGTOW value their freedom, and because a lot of people on the left want to take freedom away, especially from men, that puts them at odds with MGTOW. But then if you go back in time, if the right was in control and the right was passing laws trying to take men's freedom away in the name of traditionalism, MGTOW would oppose them too. So it's not really so much that MGTOW is right-wing, or like if the right people were in charge, MGTOW would support them. MGTOW just want their freedom. And no matter what side tries to take away men's freedom, MGTOW will oppose them. Now, if you can't conceive of a community of individuals like MGTOW who are apolitical, you just have to put MGTOW into a box. And you've listened to this video and I've tried to explain it to you, and it's going over your head, and you just can't conceive of this community not being political, and you have to put them on one side or the other. I don't know what to tell you. If you promote and enforce gynocentrism, if you seek to enslave men to tie them down to a society which just wants to use them without giving them a just reward for their sacrifice, go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit what letter you have after your name. I don't give a shit about the color of your skin, the language you use, or the god you pray to. You can go fuck yourself. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Turd Filling You Monkey, and I'll see you next time.